Okay, so this is What's Up in Minnesota. So we're going to be looking at cases that have completed since our last meeting and new cases that have come in since our last meeting. So it's from March 8th through April 11th, so our last meeting through yesterday. We're going to start with updates. So these are cases I showed you before, and they weren't completed at the time. They're now completed. So I'm going to show you how they've completed, and then we'll get into the new cases. There's about 7 of these, I think. So well, I try to go through these kind of fast just because we've seen them before, but I want you to see what the conclusions were. So case number 141070-U took place on September 2nd in 2024. A star-like object was seen in Redwood. So Jamie Flood and Bill McNeff were working on it. And note that Clements Redwood, because we're going to see that a number of times today. So it's the same witness, I believe. So Jamie and Bill were working on it. Great tag team there. Completed IFO man-made object. So the witness described viewing an orb moving in the sky and then seeing linear formation similar to Starlink in the northern sky. Confirmed several Starlink satellites on multiple launch dates were passing through at various positions in the sky in the area of the observation on the date time indicated on the report. Additionally, there were also Starlink satellites from the August 31st, 2024 launch date in the area at the time of relevance. Since they were launched only a couple days earlier, this explains why they're not in a linear satellite train formation, which occurs shortly after launch. He emailed the findings to the witness and conclusion, no response to date. So yeah, Starlink, they're in a straight line when they first launch, but then they start spreading out. They turn more into a globular cluster, or a group. So not so much a straight line. So thank you, Jamie and Bill, for your work on that. So again, 141258-U took place on February 25th of this year. Again, Clements, Minnesota. Originally was signed to me, but I think we gave it to Jamie, so I should have Jamie's up there. So strange anomalies and orbs, UAPs. Again, unknown others. So here's just a segment of what they put in their field investigators. So completed unknown other. So that doesn't mean it's a craft. We just don't know what it is. So on this date, the witness captured 2 separate events in 2 different locations within the same town using 2 different video recording devices. Transponding air traffic, so we checked transponders to see what was in the air at that time, was a search for the relevant date, time, location, did not locate any applicable airplanes, etc. That would correlate with the location of the orbs captured by the witness in videos files 6, 7, and 8. Researched historical Heavens Above, and Heavens Above is a website, data, and did not locate any satellites or other deep space objects that would have been visible at the time when the witness filmed the video files 6, 7, and 8. Closest matching was Starlink was noted in Heavens Above, appeared about 15 minutes after the witness last video. Reviewed stellarium for the date, time, and location of witness video and did not observe anything that correlates with the orbs captured in video 6, 7, and 8. At this time, the orbs objects seen filmed in video 6, 7, and 8 are unknown. Emailed the witness with findings and no response. So that is Jamie who's doing this. So thank you. And Jamie's one of our newer field investigators, and she is just doing a fantastic job, just doing a great job. So case number 141291-U took place again on February 19th of this year. A circle was seen in skyline, ball of light. I think Jamie took this one to start as me. They all start as me, and they get assigned to other people. So completed as an unknown other, witness wanted to report it because it seemed different than other objects she has seen in the sky. She lives on a hill above the city, and she said she's seen all types of aircraft in the sky, but this was different. Flight Radar 24 indicates that there are no planes in the area at the time, and AMS did not list any meteors or space-falling junk observed. Classification is unknown others. So Steve Hero did the work on this. Steve's been a long-time field investigator. He always does a great job. He's always just on top of it. So thank you, Steve, for your work on that one. He knows the process. He knows the routine. Steve is great to have on the team. So case number 141314-U took place on March 1st of this year. Circle was seen again, Clements, Redwood County. So I think it's the same witness. Orbs, UAPs. So here's some segment completed as unknown other. This I think was Jamie did this. So here's some segments of what she said. Witness submitted 10 videos of orbs, UAPs, which she indicates came in independently and seemed together in the same general area. Witness states they glide and disappear. She indicated this is a regular occurrence. They seem to come around the same time almost every morning between 3 and 4 a.m. Researched historical Heavens Above data and did not locate any satellites or other deep space objects that would have been visible at the time when the witnesses filmed the videos. The closest matching Starlink, 2403, was noted in Heavens Above to appear at 3:15:36, about a minute after the witness's last video was taken. Additionally, the magnitude of the Starlink was noted to be 7, much less than bright than the orbs appear to be in the witness video. Also, the lack of movement of the closest Starlink, no changes in altitude or azimuth, does not correlate with the moving orbs the witness captured in the video. Reviewed stellarium for the date, time, location of the witness videos and did not observe anything that correlates to the orbs captured in the witness video. All at this time, the orbs are unidentified. Emailed witness these findings with no response. So yeah, so thank you very much for your work on that one, Jamie. So So see, she indicates it's a regular occurrence. That's a flag for me because when I hear it happens, when I hear it happens every night or it happens every Saturday, when there's that regularity, to me that says man-made explanation. That's what I think because UFOs just aren't on a regular schedule. They just don't work that way. So I think that's probably a very good disposition on that. Case number 141331-U took place on December 6th of 2024. Oval was seen in Rice Lake. And here's the one picture of it that was sent of a cell phone picture, and then a close-up on that. And unknown UAV. So Steve Hero did this one as well. So he ruled out Chinese lanterns because it's motionless. Ruled out drones because no lights and too close to the airport. Ruled out aircraft because it's motionless and no lights. Ruled out celestial objects because of cloud cover. Therefore, it's just an unknown, unidentified aerial vehicle. So Steve did the work on that one. So thank you again, Steve, for that. We certainly appreciate all that you do for Minnesota MUFON. Case number 141337-U took place on February 28th of this year. A circle was seen again, Clements, Redwood County. So we're back to that same witness. IFO man-made object. So witness noticed these same lights in the same area for some time. So again, same lights in the same area. To me, I start thinking human explanation. Area where the flashing lights can seen as just above or beyond the farmstead of the east-northeast of witness location, beyond the farmstead in the same line of sight as the farmstead, buildings, silos, trees, etc. In the city is the city of Morgan. There are several communications towers in and around the city of Morgan, Minnesota. I believe the witness is seeing the flashing lights from these communication towers. Witness also noticed she is wondering if these lights are the same lights associated with UAPs she regularly observes in and around the same area. See case number 141314. So again, same witness, seeing same stuff. It's kind of on a very irregular, which seems to me, it indicates to me probably a human explanation. I do not believe they are the same thing. The lights seen in 141314 are seen more to the north and do not move, whereas the lights reported in this case appear stationary and are seen in more of an east-northeast direction. Email witness to set up a follow-up call, so no response to date. So yeah, so that's what we got on that one. So thank you so much on that. I gotta start putting in the names there when they don't put it themselves. So case number 140914-U took place on January 31st of this year, classification CE1. We'll get into classifications in a little bit, but Jared was assigned to this one. And Jared, as much as he does with YouTube and the websites and all that stuff and the communications, Jared also does a bang-up job as a field investigator. So Jared completed this one with unknown UAV. So I conducted a phone interview with a witness who appeared to be reasonable and down to earth. And this is actually just a segment because this was really long. And I chopped up and just, witness a retired individual who has lived on the lake for some time, mentioned he had never seen anything like this before. I also checked Flight Radar 24, which is a website where you can check stuff, and found no aircraft in the area at the time of the sighting. A small Cirrus aircraft flew east of the lake and a larger commercial airliner flew just south and west, but neither coincided with the reported time of the sighting. A curious aspect of the sighting is that the object did not fly end to end like a typical cigar-shaped object. Instead, it moved more like a wing, relying on aerodynamics to stay aloft, with a snorkel facing aft. Regarding their positions, the husband was sitting facing southeast while the wife was facing northwest. The object emitted no noise but was silent. After reviewing the witness statements and available data, I'm unable to find any rational explanation for the object. Therefore, I'm closing the case as an unknown UAV. So Jared Nelson, thank you, Jared, for that. Fantastic job. Thank you, Jared. So that's it for our updates. Now we're on to new cases. I'll take a little bit more time with the new cases because you haven't seen these before. Yeah, so let's just get into our overviews. So the overviews of the new cases. We've had 6 cases submitted since our last meeting. One was an ERT case. So I can't really tell you anything about the ERT cases except for what's on this screen, like the shapes and the valet clap, but I can't even identify which one it is. The reason for that is the ERT cases, we have an additional layer of anonymity. So I can't talk about them at all other than what's here. But the regular cases, I can share you more details about them. So again, the submission date range is the date of our last meeting through yesterday. But the date range of the sightings go back a little bit further. We go back all the way back to February 22nd of 2016. And actually, that's the ERT case. So we'll see a 2017 case today, but we won't see this 2016 case. And they go all the way up through March 31st of this year. We had no cases of interest. So case of interest is where sightings come to MUFON headquarters before they come to the States. And so when the headquarters looks at it and goes, oh my gosh, this might really be a UFO, they'll mark it as a case of interest to really make it a priority. We didn't get any cases of interest this month. So, and of course, one ERT case. Of the cases that came in, we received 1 circle, 2 that were listed as other, 1 was star-like, 1 was disc, and 1 just had nothing listed. And I explain other as other doesn't fit into a nice category because we have a category of discs, we have a category of cylinders, we have a category of cigar shapes. And if you were to, for example, if you were to see the Starship Enterprise, what would you call that? Well, there's a disc there, but it's not a disc. There's a cylinder there, but it's not a cylinder. So it's a shape, but you can't, it's not easily classified. So that's what the other category is for. So valet classification. So here's the valet classifications we received. We had two AN1s. So AN stands for anomaly. So we had two cases that were anomalies of the first kind. So MUFON defines an anomaly of the first kind as anomalies that do not have long lasting physical effects, such as amorphous lights or unexplained explosions. Big bang. So it's something happened, but there's no evidence of it. There's just something unexplained that's there and gone. So two of those. We had two AN4s. So MUFON defines an AN4 as those anomaly reports in which witnesses experiences personal interaction with entities in the reality of the entities themselves, like so in their craft or on their planet or something in their entity's reality. They include near-death experiences, religious miracles and visions, and in many cases out-of-body experiences. So we had two AN4s come in. We had one CE1, so a CE, that's a close encounter. So we had one close encounter of the first kind come in. MUFON defines a close encounter of the first kind as class of objects seen on the ground or at a short distance to the observer. So they're actually getting very close to an object. So we had one of those come in, and one MA1. So MA stands for maneuver. So we had one case that was a maneuver of the first kind. MUFON defines a maneuver of the first kind as UFO observations that involve an object with a discontinuous trajectory. So it suddenly drops, or it maneuvers, or maybe it does a loop or something that it changes direction very quickly. That's an MA1, a maneuver of the first kind. So we had one of those come in. So those are the cases. I'm going to show you five of those six, because I can't show you the ERT case. But let's just jump right in and see what's going on, see what's happening with those cases. Okay, so case number 141460-U took place on March 8th of this year at 9 p.m. Star-like object was seen, anomaly of the fourth kind. So that's the one anomaly I just told you about in Victoria. So Victoria's in Carver County, which is down to the southwest of us. This is the actual short description that the person put in. I see all kinds of craft in space. And I was able to include their detailed description, the whole thing. I used night vision goggles on the stars. Took me 3 months to figure this out. Pick a spot on the stars and then get them into focus. Then after that, back off a little. You just adjusted to the spectrum. You can see these crafts, these interdimensional and solid crafts or orbs or whatever they are. They're all over the skies. I had footage and had an accident and it's gone. This Sunday night skies should be clear. And Bill Andig has been assigned to this case, so he'll be working on it. We'll follow up with this case when it's completed. But it's interesting. He says he gets the night vision set and then he backs off to get it out of focus. I've heard a lot of people say that if you use the infrared on your iPhone, you can see things in the sky that you can't see with the naked eye, like UFO type stuff. I don't have an iPhone, so I haven't verified that, but it's interesting that if you can adjust stuff, you can see stuff that isn't apparently there. So that's interesting that the witness said that. And so I try to be very transparent with our cases. I try to show you as much as I can. If there's videos, I try to show you videos. If there's photos, I try to show you photos. This is an attachment to that case. It looks like a photograph of a book at some, because you can see the crease in the book and there's other pictures there. I have no idea why the witness attached this. I don't know who that person is, but in the spirit of transparency, the witness submitted this with the case. I want to show you what the witness submitted. So obviously a guy with a blowtorch. I don't know if that's the witness or what, but like I said, it's apparently a picture out of a book or a magazine. I'm not sure the purpose of it. So case number 141471-U, and U is the qualifiers. There's 4 different qualifiers. U is for UFOs, A is for abduction, E is for entities, and EQ is for experience or questionnaire. So most of them are used, but there could be any combination of those. Took place on September 20th, 2027 at 5 p.m. or 2017 at 5 p.m. So here's our 2017 case. So our older case, yeah. A disc was seen, CE1, so close encounter of the first kind. So they're within a close distance of the object. So their short description was both approximately 60 foot in diameter, greenish gray in color, and approximately 2 feet in circumference around the aircraft. There was about, it looked like Egyptian. I'm assuming he was writing like Egyptian, but that short description, they'll only let you put in so much. And once you're done, it just cuts you off there. So their detailed description, this is the entire detailed description the witness put in. 2 saucers, green grayish in color, with what looked like Arabic writing around the circumference of the ships, hovering approximately 75 feet off the ground, above 2 large oak trees, approximately a foot above the trees, and approximately 2 feet apart. And I was standing about 50 feet away. The third saucer was coming toward me from the east, and when the 2 saucers disappeared, the third saucer veered northwest and disappeared. So Steve Hero was working on this. Steve's already completed it. He's like that. He gets on a case. He's on it. He usually completes them pretty fast. So so let's see what Steve determined. He completed it. Insufficient data. So the witness was unsure the date and the year when this happened. Therefore, this case is information only. Steve Hero, field investigator. So I shot Steve an email today because information only is one disposition, insufficient data is another disposition, and they're not the same. I think he meant information only because we don't know the year and we don't know the date. We can't really do a good investigation. We can just take the information only. So I shot Steve an email because I think he wants to be information only. So he may change that, but that's what Steve put in there. And yeah, insufficient data, probably information only. But again, Steve does fantastic work. So thank you. And that's the thing too. Even in information only, those cases are still important to us. We're still gathering data, even though we can't really investigate them so much. It's adding to witnesses and stuff and the credibility. So. Case number 141616-U-E, so UFO and an entity on this one. So took place on March 24th of this year at 9:10 p.m. A circle was seen, AN1, so anomaly of the first kind, down in Victoria, again down in the southwest of here. I think it might even be the same witness. What are they? Night vision goggles. So this is the same witness submitting another case. Use night vision goggles and see transparent shaped donuts and bubbles. Cannot see them every night. So, and it's got signed to a Bill Endig, and so he's got both of them. Same witness. We try to put the same investigator if they got multiple cases from the same witness. So Bill will be working on that one. When he completes it, we'll revisit this one in the updates and let you know what he found out. Case number 141737-U took place on March 31st of this year at 2025, 9 p.m. Shape was other. Again, remember, the Starship Enterprise would qualify as an other because it's these different shapes that are connected are hard to describe. MA1, so maneuver of the first kind, which was located in Moose Lake up in Carleton County. So Moose Lake, you hop on 35 and head north about 2 hours, and you're kind of in the north Moose Lake area to give you kind of idea where that is. So UAP in rural Moose Lake, Minnesota on 3/31/25. And notice he used UAP, so he's obviously someone, or this he or she is obviously somewhat familiar with UFO terminology to use UAP. Most would say UFO, but he knows UAP. So, and I was able to include their full detailed description. This is one of several sightings of this type of UAP over the past few years. We have dark skies here, well, and we can easily differentiate objects in the sky, such as planes, satellites, stars, planets, Milky Way, etc. This one definitely looked more orb-shaped, but some satellites look like a 10-sided dice cube. So 10-sided dice, if you're a gamer, 10-sided dice tumbling very fast. We actually saw two same type UAPs that night. We saw the objects for roughly 20 minutes before going inside. So Steve has been assigned this, and I'm sure Steve will do a bang-up job figuring out what's going on with this one. So I will update you on this one when this one completes. Case number 141741-U took place on March 29th of this year at 8:30 p.m. Shape of other. So classification AN1, so anomaly of the first kind in Clements, which is Redwood County. So Clements, remember I said at the beginning, remember Clements, Redwood County, same witness. We got the same witness, a light anomaly. This anomaly started 3/29/25 at 8:30 p.m. and my camera caught 3 short videos of it, but the next morning, 3:30, I caught this event happening, so I was able to record it happen. The one video just sort of reminds me of the Batman symbol. I can actually see the anomaly just pop up on the screen. I had just opened the camera live view. I hadn't pressed record yet, so my video doesn't show it appear, but I saw it happen. At one point, I went and looked outside and couldn't see or hear anything at all. My dogs would not go outside and potty, and that's not like them except for when this happened. So Jamie is working on that one. And if you remember last month when I had that one case that had all those same videos, and there's that big like water tanker in the yard, it's the same location, it's the same type of video. So you saw a bunch of these videos last month. They're a little bit clearer this time, but yeah, same tanker. So yeah, so that's, you've seen a lot of that already. So we'll revisit this one when it's completed. And that's what's up in Minnesota. So that's what